Alright, welcome back. So we're going to head back to the timeline, which is representative of the future 7-year tribulation period, November 2nd of 2029 to November 2nd of 2036. And in this part, we're going to take a look at the Chicago Cubs. And again, the man that is notably from that area, that jurisdiction, is Mr. Obama. Now, I'm going to start off with a bet that I placed last night, just to show you I put my money where my mouth is. I put down 200 on a game between the Cubs and the Giants, and I'm going to show you why. So the Giants beat the Cubs last night, and they get their 51st win, with their record getting to 51-51. The Cubs, on the other hand, are getting their 60th and 28th loss. So in the previous video, I've explained to you that the date centered around the mark of the beast described in the Bible is May 3rd of 2033, but I've also told you that there's a coming together of the fourth and final beast on that date described in Daniel. And the gematria associated with that verse is here in front of you, Daniel 7:23. And in full reduction, it equals 826. And again, during this time frame of this beast, it's been communicated to us that the man that is going to rule is Mr. Obama. Now, in this game, the San Francisco Giants are picking up their 628th all-time win against the Cubs at home, while the Cubs are picking up their 60th and 28th loss, not like 60 and 28. And its mirror, 628, is 826. And if you're somebody that's into gambling, the next pennant and championship the Dodgers can pick up is 26 and 8, just like the value you see here in front of you in full reduction. And it's interesting this year that we get a special date on the Gregorian calendar, November 1st of 2022, which reads like the mirror of the 666 triangular number. That's also a date World Series can end on. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, so you see the relationship between the gematria of Daniel 7:23 and the game. Okay, again, the Giants are picking up their 628th home win against the Cubs, and the Cubs are getting their 28th loss. Now, I mentioned May 3rd of 2033, and this is why I bet on the game, because from 7:31 of yesterday, 7:31 of 2022, 2/5/333, you had the span. Let me show it again. 10 years, 9 months, 0 weeks, and 3 days. Why is that important? Because 10,903, its prime number is 1,326, and then its prime number is 51. And 51 is it's a relevant number because the 51st prime number, that just reduced via triangular number relationship. But the 51st prime number is 2033, like the year. And I think that's everything for this date. Alright. We're going to head back to the beginning of the timeline, which is the beginning of the 7-year tribulation period. And again, in this series, we're just basically taking a look at the Cubs. And it just so happens that the Cubs won the 112th World Series, not unlike 11/2. Now, Chicago Cubs in simple English gematria equals 91. And just to show you real quick the number relationship, 91 is the 13th triangular number. Now, the reason why, first off, let me say this. The reason why 47 is significant is because the 47th prime is 211. Okay, and 47 squared is 2,209, but it looks like a shuffle of 2029, and many people in the world would write November 2nd as 2/11. So the number relationships that 47 has kind of have a relationship with the date November 2nd of 2029. Okay, so in this World Series, the 112th World Series, you have the who are now the Guardians and were then the Indians playing the Chicago Cubs, with the Cubs winning in Game 7 4-3. Now, they closed out on November 2nd, just like the beginning of tribulation, and it's exactly 13 years or 156 months to November 2nd of 2029, and in Gematria, tribulation equals 156. But the 13 is important is because, and as you see the date connection here in front of you, is because in Game 7 they picked up their 13th all-time head-to-head record, head-to-head game win against the Indians. So that's the connection to the date, and that's why the Cubs won the 112th World Series. Okay, now on to the second date in the timeline, which is the date centered around the second beast of Revelation. And the top box you have in front of you is the Gematria values of the text of Revelation 13, verse 11 through 17, where it talks about the second beast. Now, you had on 5/27 of 2013, you had the Cubs and the White Sox meet each other, and you got to pay attention to when they meet each other because it's going to have something to do with this timeline. And so the day previous, the Cubs are facing the Reds and getting to 19 and 30. Okay, just like the value of the Gematria you see here in front of you, which is meant to be read like a date, January 9th of 2030. That's the date in the timeline. So the Cubs get to that value, 19 and 30, 1/9/30. And then with that record, they go into the White Sox Stadium and play them with that value. And again, the man with a relationship with these jurisdictions is Mr. Obama. The Cubs win this game and then get to 20 and 30 like the year, January 9th, 2030. And it's 6,071 days until January 9th of 2030. But when it's important to read numbers backwards, it's just as important. But Chicago, Illinois is 67, which is the 19th prime, like the date 1/9, and it's 176, like you would read this backwards. So that's the relationship with the city and the date duration, why they're coming together with those values on this date. And the last one is November 2nd and November 3rd of 2036. And this is, again, what has been communicated to us is this is the date centered around the Battle of Armageddon. I understand it's hard to comprehend that. It's hard to really believe that, but that's what's being communicated to us. So there was a game between the Cubs and the White Sox where the Cubs beat the White Sox and they get to 24 and 42, which is just like 42 twice. And the White Sox come into the game 42 and 24 like the Cubs, with a clear tribute to the number 42. And from this date to November 3rd of 2036 is a span of 15 years, 2 months, and 1 week. 1,521 has a square root of 39. And what this is meant to represent, when you have spent some time reviewing scripture and you kind of read numbers like a language, what you see here is you read it backwards as 93. I see 903, the 42nd triangular number. Okay, and I'll show you why that's, there's no doubt about that. So in this game, the Cubs are picking up their 64th head-to-head win against the White Sox. 64, like 47, is a very unique number in that its path of number relationships also bring us to the date and the timeline. The 64th prime number is 311. Like some people would write the date November 3rd, they would write it 3/11. Okay, and the 311th prime number is 2063, a shuffle of 2036. Just like so, that path of numbers, you can draw a date out of it, November 3rd of 2036. So they're picking up their 64th win. There's a date connection of 39, which you would read as 903. I know some people may have a hard time, especially if you're new to this, seeing the significance of that, but it comes with time and reviewing this type of information. And in this game, they do 7-0, but you can, when you read the box score, you read 749. And in simple English, when you decode the verse in the Bible, the only one that talks about Armageddon, Revelation 16, chapter 16, verse 16, you get a value of 749 in simple English. So that's why you see in the box score 749. And I believe that covers everything. If I was unclear about something, please ask. I have not. Until next time, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.